What if I told you that one of America's biggest fried chicken franchises collapsed before it even began? That an attorney with dreams of becoming president once ran a chicken chain into the ground, dragging along investors, celebrities, and an entire city's reputation with him. This isn't just another business failure. It's one of the most bizarre and catastrophic corporate implosions in fast food history, known today as the Minnie Pearl Chicken debacle. Let's rewind. It's the early 1960s. America is obsessed with fried chicken. Colonel Harlan Sanders, the man in the white suit and black tie, has turned his secret blend of herbs and spices into a cultural phenomenon. From humble beginnings at a Kentucky gas station, his Kentucky Fried Chicken chain is booming. By 1963, there are already over 500 KFC restaurants across the United States. When KFC goes public, the early investors become instant millionaires. Sanders sells his company for $2 million, and suddenly, the fried chicken business is the new gold rush. Watching all this from Nashville is a man named John J. Hooker, a charismatic lawyer and political figure who had just narrowly lost the race for Tennessee governor. Hooker wasn't the kind of man to sit quietly and lick his wounds. He was ambitious, charming, and used to getting attention. Alongside his younger brother, Henry, Hooker looked at the success of KFC and thought, why not us? They believed they could ride the coattails of Colonel Sanders, just like Pepsi did with Coke. The formula looked simple enough. Step 1. Get a good chicken recipe. Step 2. Get a famous face to endorse it. Step 3. Franchise the concept. Step 4. Make money. Lots of it. Only one problem. Neither brother had any experience in the restaurant business. But that didn't matter to John J. Hooker. In his mind, charisma could conquer anything. So, the Hooker brothers went shopping for a recipe. They hired a food laboratory in Chicago to develop a blend they claimed was as good, or better, than KFC's. Then came the star. Hooker was friends with Sarah Collie Cannon, the beloved comedian best known as Minnie Pearl, the straw hat-wearing country darling from the variety show Hee Haw. Minnie Pearl's wholesome, southern charm made her the perfect symbol for family values and home cooking. She was adored across America. Hooker believed if Minnie Pearl put her smiling face on a bucket of fried chicken, people would buy it by the truckload. And just like that, Minnie Pearl's Chicken Systems Incorporated was born. In June 1967, the Nashville, Tennessee newspaper ran a front-page headline: Minnie Pearl's Chicken plans 500 stores by 1970. There wasn't a single restaurant open yet, but the public didn't care. Investors swarmed. Franchisees begged for a chance to own a piece of the next Kentucky Fried Chicken. Hooker was electric in meetings, part salesman, part preacher. He would tell friends that being in the chicken business felt like being the prettiest girl at the dance. Everyone wanted a piece of him. Within months, hundreds of franchises were sold across the country. Florida, California, Texas, you name it. The company opened its first restaurant right in front of its Nashville headquarters at 2708 Franklin Road. Everything looked unstoppable. By early 1968, Minnie Pearl's had sold the rights to nearly 300 franchises, but only 5 of them were actually operating. Still, that didn't stop Hooker. He announced the company would go public. On May 2, 1968, Minnie Pearl's chicken stock hit the market, and it skyrocketed. Shares jumped from $20 to over $40 in a single day. In less than a year, a small idea born in a lawyer's office had become a company worth $64 million. Hooker and his brother were now on top of the world. They were Nashville royalty, rich, famous, and rubbing elbows with politicians, musicians, and TV stars. But behind the charm and champagne, something was wrong. Something big. You see, while KFC had decades of experience perfecting their system, the Hooker brothers had none. Their recipe came from a lab, not a kitchen. Their franchise manuals were rushed. And the food coming out of their restaurants, inconsistent at best. Some stores served overcooked, greasy chicken. Others ran out of ingredients entirely. There was no standardized method, no training pipeline, and no operational backbone. But what really turned this story from reckless to scandalous was the accounting. The Hooker brothers reported the entire $20,000 franchise fee as immediate profit, even though franchisees were only paying 10% upfront. That meant they were logging money they hadn't actually received yet. It made the company look outrageously profitable, boosting stock prices and attracting even more investors. In reality, the books were built on air. Their accountants defended the practice, calling it standard procedure. But to anyone who understood business, it was a time bomb. By this point, Minnie Pearl's Chicken wasn't in the chicken business anymore. It was in the sales business. The real money came from selling new franchises, not from selling food. Every new investor was paying for the illusion of success. When Ed Nelson, a respected banker, was hired as the company's new president, he immediately saw the disaster unfolding. He later said being president of Minnie Pearl's Chicken felt like being shackled to train tracks while watching the train come right at you. Franchisees were furious. They'd paid huge sums for stores that weren't profitable, using recipes that didn't work, and marketing that didn't deliver. It was only a matter of time before everything fell apart. But instead of fixing the problems, the hookers expanded even more. They launched new ventures left and right. Mahalia Jackson's Chicken, Minnie Pearl's Roast Beef, even a daycare chain and an auto repair service. The company name was changed to Performance Systems Incorporated, PSI, to reflect this chaotic sprawl. At this point, Minnie Pearl's had fewer than 40 restaurants actually open, and almost none of them were making money. Meanwhile, John Hooker's political ambitions were dividing his focus. Employees at headquarters said that more time was spent working on Hooker's next gubernatorial campaign than on the failing restaurants. By 1969, banks started to smell trouble. Investors began pulling out. Stock prices crashed from $40 down to $10, then lower. The once celebrated chicken empire was on life support. On August 21, 1969, John Hooker resigned from the company. Many assumed he was retreating to focus on politics, but the truth was, the empire was collapsing from the inside out. Franchisees were closing stores left and right. Lawsuits started piling up. Banks refused to lend any more money. President Ed Nelson quit and returned to his old bank job. The company's advertising agency dropped them as a client. By November 1969, PSI announced massive losses, over $5.5 million in just 6 months. Then came the final blow. In 1970, the Securities and Exchange Commission launched an investigation into PSI's accounting practices. What they found was brutal. PSI had reported false financial statements, showing fake profits to lure investors. When corrected, the company's supposed $3.2 million gain in 1968 turned out to be a $1.2 million loss. By the end of 1969, Minnie Pearl's had lost $31 million and was buried in debt. Its stock, once worth $67 a share, plummeted to just 44 cents. The fallout destroyed more than a company. It destroyed reputations. Hooker's political career was finished. In November 1970, he lost his race for governor, and his name became synonymous with scandal in Tennessee. The SEC's investigation led to a class action lawsuit from angry shareholders. The company was forced to liquidate its assets. By 1973, the once promising Minnie Pearl's Chicken franchise was officially dead. Restaurants were abandoned, signs removed, and the cheerful face of Minnie Pearl disappeared from the streets of America. The liquidation of their side project, Royal Castle Hamburgers, dragged on until 1975. A dream that once sold hope and fried chicken had vanished completely. And yet, this story doesn't end there. In 1977, a Nashville attorney named John Chambers bought what remained of PSI and transformed it into a small computer company called DSI Corp. Yes, the ashes of Minnie Pearl's Chicken became a tech company. If that sounds insane, that's because it is. But that's America's business landscape in a nutshell. Failure, rebirth, and reinvention, even when it makes no sense. Years later, John Hooker reflected on the fiasco. He said, "The debacle of Minnie Pearl haunts me to this day. The problem wasn't losing my money, it was losing my reputation for being honest." That's the tragedy of this story. It wasn't about greed alone, it was about the illusion of success, about the belief that charm and hype could replace substance and experience. Minnie Pearl's Chicken wasn't just a bad business, it was a mirror of the times. An era obsessed with expansion, celebrity, and the promise of easy money. For a brief moment, America believed in that dream. A fried chicken empire built on charisma and paper profits. And then, as quickly as it rose, it burned.